CNN, in my view, should be the place where both sides can watch. How do you think you're doing with that?
How is CNN is the place where both sides can watch. And I think, my show is evidence of that.
Welcome back to the Devore Darkin Show. In this video, we're going to be reacting to this interview that Bill Maher did with Kaitlin Collins on his show. And listen, I'm not a fan of Kaitlin Collins. I'm not a fan of Bill Maher either. And I'm only doing this video because I like to point out what the truth really is. And we have to have more people doing this because these people, they're going to keep pushing propaganda in their own unique way. Now, CNN is absolutely much more aggressive with it. Bill Maher, he's a little bit more subtle with it. But both of these individuals, they are no good, okay? Anyways, he does make a great point. And that point is CNN is truly biased.
You made press because you were on Stephen Colbert's show, and he said something like, you guys at CNN just report the news straight, and the crowd burst into laughter. Look, I'm on CNN now. I guess we're on it right now. I mean, they show this show the next night. I don't know how we get away with it with all the fucks, but they do. And all these dirty jokes, but I'm glad, and I'm a big rooter for CNN. But that tells you a lot, doesn't it? I mean, how do you guys think you are doing in that arena of like, this is a terribly divided country. We're not only politicized, a lot of people just hate the other side. And CNN, in my view, should be the place where both sides can watch. How do you think you're doing with that?
How is CNN is the place where both sides can watch. And I think, my show is evidence of that. We have lawmakers on from both parties. We'll have Elizabeth Warren on one night. We'll have Ted Cruz on another night. I think lawmakers from both parties should take questions, and you should push both of them.
Hold on. You don't push Democrats to answer questions, okay, Kaitlan? So don't say that. And this is evil, actually. They think just bringing on the opposite side is enough. No, that's not what Bill Maher is talking about. He's talking about in the way that you guys talk about these stories that come out. It's already inherently biased because what's happening is a story breaks, and what these people are allowed to do today is to provide their own personal bias on the story, meaning what's coming out of their mouth is filtered through the way that they feel about it, not necessarily filtered through the unbiased lens, right? Where it's just like, here's this fact, here's this fact, here's this fact. I don't have an opinion on it. Let me bring on two people who might have an opinion on it. Let them duke it out and then call it a day. No, that's not what CNN is doing.
On CNN being a place of credibility, I mean, look at what just happened in Chicago. We had 300 people from CNN on the ground covering that convention. There were several reporters from just our team alone on the floor, bringing it in real time to people. And I think,
why didn't you guys bring out the protesters, right? Why didn't you talk about that? Why didn't you talk about that? The DNC ignored them, wouldn't give them a time to actually speak on it. That's like 1% of your coverage. 99% of your coverage was, oh my God, Kamala Harris, her speech was great, and the Obamas, their speeches were great, and there was no pushback from you guys. None, zero. You guys want to report from a liberal point of view what you want voters to know so that Kamala Harris can be elected. That's really what's happening. That's happening more likely than being truly unbiased.
CNN puts resources behind things and just brings a level of news that you don't get anywhere else. And I think CNN does a great job.
I'm talking about the people on CNN and what I know what the conservative side of America thinks, and I don't blame them. I watched Kamala's speech last night. It ended at 8:09, I guess 11:09 in the East. It wasn't until 11:23 till the one conservative guy, what's his name?
Scott Jennings.
This lonely Scott, I call him.
David Urban was there too.
Wait a second. I watched from 8:09 to 8:23, they were just gushing about how great a speech it was. And I think she did fine. I didn't think it was as good as they were making it out to be. But if I'm a conservative in America and I'm watching CNN, just for the straight middle of the road, that's what I hear for 15 minutes, is it's great, and then Lonely Scott. It does look, I mean, and when you see the path, it does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View. It's like it's almost better to have nobody there, like MSNBC, than to have just the...
Well, I don't think you could say it's better to have nobody there and then also lament the fact that you don't think the conservative guy, Scott Jennings, who is great, and we have him on my show all the time, spoke up early enough. I think it was a Democratic convention. They turned to Democrats, people like David Alcorn.
Yeah, but if you go back to the RNC coverage from CNN, immediately after the speech was finished, they were already, hey, we don't like this, we don't like that, we don't like this. I mean, it's very difficult when you work for a biased organization to be unbiased. The best thing you could do is just be honest about it. At least people would respect you guys more for it. Like MSNBC, they are not shy about how they feel when it comes to Trump and that they are biased towards Kamala Harris. They are not denying that. And so their viewership is absolutely more loyal to them than the viewership of CNN. Now, here are some facts for you guys, because I want to pull this up so you guys understand what's going on with CNN. In 2021, CNN had 80 million households that were subscribed. Now, as of December 2023, they're at 68 million. So that is a loss of 12 million households that are not watching them anymore. Now, I found this fact to be very interesting because as a recent new YouTuber of speaking about this stuff, they are stating that CNN ranked third in viewership among cable news networks behind Fox News and MSNBC, averaging only 580,000 viewers throughout the day, down 50% from a year earlier. This is amid sharp declines in viewership across all cable news networks. Do you know how many views this channel has gotten in the last 20 days? We have received 16 million views. Now, the average of that every day, I think it's around 600, 700,000 people viewing my videos a day, which I'm grateful for every single view, by the way. Grateful that you're watching this, by the way, because it just shows you what's happening, that there is some good out there in the world where we don't need to be monopolized by people like CNN. We have different creators like myself and other people out there. So I want to throw that fact at you guys because it just shows you they are a dying breed. It's just only a matter of time.
I think it was a Democratic convention. They turned to Democrats, people like David Axelrod, who ran successful presidential Democratic campaigns first, for their analysis of this. And I don't think that you can say that CNN is anything but fair. I mean, look at that. We covered President Biden's exit from the race very closely, the pressure on him to get out. And
sorry, got to stop. You covered it very closely after the debate. Where were you guys before the debate? You guys were missing in action. You wouldn't ever dare to question, where is the president? Why doesn't he take questions? Why does he look like he is declining? You guys weren't asking questions like that. It's only after Biden obviously embarrassed himself on the debate stage where too many people saw it. So there's no way you guys could argue any other way but to go along with what you saw as well. So
exit from the race very closely, the pressure on him to get out. And I feel like I can speak with authority on this. I'm from Alabama. I'm from a very red state. I have a very conservative family, a lot of them who are Trump voters. They watch my show every night. And I think they know that they can trust me, that, you know, we call bullshit on every side, not just whatever leaning our audience may be.
Oh, but you're not calling bullshit on the fact that they're lying about the Charlottesville lie or the suckers and losers when it comes to veterans lie, right? You don't want to call that out. You're not calling out that they keep saying Trump wants a national abortion ban. You didn't call that out, right? Even though that's a lie. He wants to cut Medicare and Social Security. You're not calling that out. You didn't call out that Kamala Harris copied no tax on tips. See, we could do this all day.
And I think that's something that people actually want more of, is to hear from that. I think Scott's voice is really important, but I think other voices are important to hear from. And everyone who was speaking last night, it's not like they were all Democrats. I mean, we had Dana Bash, Jake Tapper, Abby Phillip, all my amazing colleagues.
They come across
giving
that way.
analysis.
They come across
Exactly.
in a moment like that. It was like 5-1. It always looks like 5-1. Okay, I'll move on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she's not going to admit it because she works for CNN. She can't go on there on Bill Maher's show and truly criticize the network that feeds her. To make my point, just look at this. ABC, CBS, NBC. Okay? I don't know why they don't have CNN on here, but it still proves my point. Look at this. The legacy media's election interference. Here's why we could say that. 84% of Kamala Harris and the coverage she's getting from the media, 84% of it is positive. 89% of the coverage when it comes to Trump is negative. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? I mean, this is known. So, it's bullshit. And they are not going to report. I have a bias too, right? I'm a veteran. I didn't grow up with my biological parents, so I had to figure a lot of stuff out on my own. I had to become my own man. I had to learn how to be a man. So my values are definitely going to be more conservative because I built a successful life by picking myself up and making things happen, right? And so, yeah, I have certain biases, of course. I'm not afraid to admit that. But all I really want to see, and as I wrap up this video, I don't want people always agreeing with me. I want people willing to have a conversation. And that's what CNN does not want to do. CNN is not a proponent of having conversation. Yes, they have Scott Jennings on there. Yes, every now and then they bring on the opposing side. But if we do ratios again, 70% of the people they bring on is all we hate Trump, right? And 30% is we don't hate Trump. And here's the other thing. If you look at their shows, most of the show is pro Kamala Harris. Even the frequency. So let's say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Kamala Harris. Friday, Trump. I mean, that's how it goes. So they for her to make those remarks, I think it's just disingenuous. You guys know this. I know it. She knows it. Her family knows it. Everybody knows it. That's why even people who are Democrats, they hate CNN too. What does that tell you? Right? So, hey, that's my mindset on this. What do you guys think about Kaitlin Collins and her embarrassing performance on Bill Maher? I call it embarrassing because, man, you're not even on CNN and you still can't be honest. You're like a robot, right? I want to hear what your thoughts are and more in the comment section below. Thank you for checking out the video today. Stay grateful, stay focused, and stay true. Peace.